So, Tales of Arise demo was out yesterday, and I played it for an hour on stream. I have a lot of words to say about that because, oh damn, that game feels so good. A little background about me and the Tales of franchise. I've been into this since about technically my childhood and a little bit of high school going up to now as an adult. I beat Symphonia when I was really young. Thought it was good, but not as cool as like Kingdom Hearts 2, Devil May Cry 3, Shinobi for the PS2, Nightshade, things like that. Like I thought it was cool, but like it wasn't what I was looking for. Fast forward to high school, and I sit down at a friend's house, and we're talking to each other, and so I noticed he had a PS4. Yes, by like a certain point in high school, PS4 is very standard, and I just remember going, oh cool, new technology. I don't have this. But he had a game called Tales of Hysteria, and I'm like, oh hey, I've heard of this Tales of thing. The guy Yuri from Project Cross Zone is in there. I played Tales of Symphonia. I chilled at his house for like weeks on end, going from school back to his place, and I did not enjoy that game. The story was meh. The only good characters I really cared about were Zavid and Edna, specifically Zavid, not gonna lie. And the gameplay was very... I wouldn't call it bad, but I'm not calling it interesting, to say the least. But low-key scorned me a little bit from checking out the rest of the franchise, but I got over that like a week after and went to GameStop and picked up Tales of Exilia. Tales of Exilia is an example of going through something bad and then going through something good. I love Tales of Exilia. That game is fucking amazing to me. And so from there, I started to branch out and seek out more Tales of. I eventually tried out Tales of the Abyss on the 3DS. Liked it, couldn't beat Arietta, came back to and emulated it on the PS. Emulated the PS2 version on my PC when it could finally handle that, beat it, and I thought that game was incredible. I went into that game knowing about Luke being voiced by Yuri Lowenthal and people loving Luke, and I came out loving Luke too. Damn, I wish I could re-experience that game. On top of that, I was just like very in. I wanted more. So, went back to my copy of Tales of Vesperia that I started before touching the PS2 version of Abyss, but got stuck somewhere and I just put it down for a little bit, so I'll be back. Beat Tales of Vesperia, and that is now in my top 10 favorite games of all time. Like, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, go play that video game. Go do it now. You need to. It is one of the best action RPGs I have ever played. It is an experience that everyone needs to have. But yeah, by this point, by the time I had touched Vesperia, I'd beaten Exilia 2, I dabbled into a little bit of Rebirth, a little bit of Destiny with a translation guide. I'd been all over the place in the Tales of franchise, and I was ready for more. The most recent games available at the time, in terms of like chronological releases, was Hysteria and Berseria, and I'm like, do I want the next Tales of game to be like this? And so I thought about it. We got announced information on Arise, story trailers, gameplay, we know we got the party members, we got everything. And fast forward now, and the demo's out, and I was low-key terrified of what the game would be like, and I was not ready to have my mind blown by a demo. This is the first time in a long time that a demo has legitimately done a proper way of letting you explore gameplay mechanics and what you're getting into properly. Like, not a lot of demos do that, and for this one, I was very, very pleased with. Anyways, these are going to be my wandering thoughts on Tales of Arise, the demo. So, first things first about Tales of Arise. This game is gorgeous. Yes, you're seeing footage I'm going to be using to describe characters later. Don't worry about it. But what I'm telling you now is that this game is pretty. Like, I was worried that, like, the PS4 version was going to get gimped, and we were going to get, like, really frame rate, meh-looking textures, okay-looking character models. Instead, no, everything in this game looks pretty, and I have a friend who has it on PS5 who was like, yo, this game's still pretty, so it all looks really good. And I was shocked to see that, like, Namco didn't decide to cut corners. The frame rate's solid, thank God. Again, don't need another Hysteria situation. Everything just looks really good, and it's presented well. I actually really like the new style of skits. I hope we do get to see more dynamic poses and interactions between characters in them, because what we have here is pretty funny and also very appealing to the eye. I like it. It's very unique, different from the rest of the franchise. So let's do this. Let's go over the characters. Let's go over what every character does, what you'll be getting into, and how I feel about them, and, you know, my overall thoughts. We're going to be going in order of the ones that I played as. I'm going to have to go back through the footage. Okay, I lied. I'm not going to go through the footage. I'm just going to... Fuck it. I'm just going to go in order of, like, Alphen down to Doharin. So, let's actually start with Alphen. Alphen, in my opinion, is probably the most smooth sword character in terms of just, like, pure sword-based combat. No additives, no kicks, no punches, just pure swordplay. He feels like a reinvention of the wheel. It feels like they took Crest from Fantasia, said, let's do that again, but let's make it flashy, and it works flawlessly. This man's surface-to-air game is incredible. His moves just all feel right. He's got the illustrious, the infamous, the best neutral tool in video game history, the Demon Fang, and it looks so good. He's got Sword Rain Alpha, which I think you can actually do Sword Rain Alpha in the air in this game, which if you can, oh, he's got so much good to his combat. The flow feels right. It doesn't feel like awkward sword swings. It feels like he's actually, like, got some weight behind it. Things feel like they're moving when you decide to attack with him. It took me a little bit to get used to how the battle is with the new linear motion battle system, but that's fine. I was liking what I was getting, and this feels right. Alphen is a much welcome addition to really fun to play as protagonists in action RPG. Like, he may be very simple on the surface with what we have in the demo, but I feel like as we go along, we're gonna get insane combo videos out of him. Just because of how well all his arts flow together. Everything looks like it's supposed to work that way, and I am here for it. Alright, so Xion. At first, I didn't have a real interest in playing as her based off of, like, footage where I was like, oh, the character with a gun, but Alvin and Luger had guns, but they were cooler about it. And then I actually played as her, and I'm like, holy shit, this is really fun. Not a fan of her bombs, though. I feel like I need to... That's something like I need to experiment with in-game, but I like everything about her. The way that she, like, shoots is very different. Like, she has firing poses. It's almost like the Keratin from Gundam Extreme vs. Maxi Busan, except good and fun. Like, it feels nice to play as her. And a lot of her arts, like, yeah, they're range-based, it feels like a lot of her potential comes from the air. Like, if you get in the air and you start shooting, ooh. You're like a rain sniper. You are chilling in the air shooting until you can't anymore, until the game says, alright, ma'am, that was a little too sick. Please join us back on the ground with the rest of society. And I'm enjoying that. I like her burst attack, where it's like she unloads like a multi-layered cylinder barrage of just... It's just rapid firing a rifle, which more characters, like, if you're a character with a rifle and an action RPG, please do that. That is some of the sickest shit I've seen. Like, I didn't think Tales of could take a pure gun character and make them fun to play as in a main game, but here we are. And I specify main game because I know Tales of the Rays has Lagretta from Tales of the Abyss, and I have her in Tales of the Rays. She's really fun, but like, she's not in a main game with, like, you know, buttons and stuff. That's the Flick linear motion battle system. We don't know what this version of LMBS is, but I like how Xion feels in it, and I hope we keep this level of consistency. Rinwell. I love her. Like, I love everything about her. Like, her personality, her gameplay, just her design. She is the most precious being, but I don't need to protect her because she'll probably do it by channeling astral energy straight into your body and destroying you from the inside out. Because, damn, this series has once again made another really fun to play as mage. And, I keep saying, going into a Tales game, I'll try out the mage. And then when I try them out, I'm like, yo, they're really fun. Wait a minute. We had Laphicet, we had Magilu, we had Aizen. Yes, I just named 3 characters from the same game. Shut up and let me have this. We had Rita. We had fucking Elise. We had those characters. And then this game says, okay, let's do that, but way better, way cooler. Because Rinwell is incredible. Like, if you spam cast a spell with her, she'll just say Magic Exam like Magilu. If you spam cast another spell, she'll say fucking blah 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 like Rita, like she'll cut the middleman out and just jump straight to the spell. Or, if you spam cast enough of them, she just says, okay, I think you get the point. And it's so fucking good to hear her, like, just cut the middleman out, cut the bullshit, and be like, no, we're doing this the right way. And the spells flow so well from, like, one into another. She's got spells that feel like they were supposed to be high tier spells, but it feels like mid-game. And the fact that, like, her spells can be charged and turned into, like, even stronger ones, it's just, who made this child so broken? I'm gonna need names, cause this shit's fun. Like, damn, son. Like, I could go on forever about how much I love Rinwell's combat, but, like, I'd be here for literally hours. We have other characters to talk about, but at the same time, I really want to keep going. She's so much fun. I'm in love with this playstyle. I hope I get to figure out how to do the magic charging thing in the full game, because if I do, I'm probably only going to play as Rinwell for, like, a majority of the game, and I'm definitely going to be there for it. Like, you'll see me day one doing Rinwell combos. But there's something else I have to bring up about, like, arts and Rinwell, like, after all the characters, so we'll get there when we get there. Alright, first of all, can I just say, this is another character voiced by Bryce Papenbrook in the Tales of franchise that I am in love with the gameplay of. The first one was Asbel, and Asbel uses Iaijutsu, which I love any character who does that off-rip, and then Bryce just kind of added to Asbel, making him even better. But Law? He took the personality aspect, like, he took the personality of, like, Asbel, blended it with a lot of other characters that he voiced, and then they took a majority of Jude's arts from Tales of Exilia, slapped them onto Law, and said, by the way, a lot of these actually flow into air combos on top of going back to the ground and then surface to air loops. You get the idea. And, oh man, Law is the armor crusher of the game, but he doesn't feel slow. If you want to keep hitting someone, you can keep hitting someone. Like, his unique trait, which I haven't even gotten traits yet, apparently, like, Magic Charge is Rinwell's, and Law's is, like, when you keep hitting people, you get stronger and faster. Like, at the very beginning, when I first got into a fight with him, it was... oh, man! I killed an enemy and then I was up in another enemy's face. Oh, okay, you got it? Man, went from one enemy to the other, he was bouncing across the screen. I'm waiting now for, like, a... I'm gonna try to, like, wait to see if, like, you can get, like, do solo party only, because if you can do only solo party, I think I might just, like, try and, like, lab things out with Law by himself, because, my goodness, just the potential of full spatial awareness within the small battle zone with a character like Law who can go from one enemy to another, that shit is mind-blowing, and I need more of it. Like, Law is definitely more of what I need. And I'm 100% ready to see what else he can do within the full confines of the game with more arts, with more customization, with more ways to approach combat. Like, Law and Rinwell are, like, probably my favorite characters to play as just overall. Dohalim. This is another staff character where it feels like I need to put more time in order to fully get a grasp of him, because, like with Leia from Tales of Exilia, I didn't fully understand how to, like, use her arts properly to, like, get everything, like, get the best out of her until I actually sat down and understood what I was doing. And Dohalim feels the same, but with a smaller, like, the barrier to entry for Leia and Dohalim are, like, very similar. You can hit buttons and feel fine, but I feel like with Dohalim, the expert level stuff is a little bit lower, but I feel like you'll be able to do some crazy things with him. Like, let's start off with the fact that he starts with Negative Gate, and it is the prettiest version of Negative Gate in the series, like, bar none. Like, that crack in reality followed by the black hole appearing and then just pulling everything in is just... oh, yes. I love it. Like, Negative Gate is visually one of my favorite Tales of spells of all time. Like, not counting Mystic Arts exclusive ones where, like, that one's a Mystic Art. No, I'm just talking about... like, regular spells you see in battle. Negative Gate is my favorite. Like, just the sudden black hole showing up and pulling everything in. Yes. And the fact that he has it is just wow. He has a combo starter in the form of a ranged tool that he can use from anywhere. Or, if you want to get fancy, you can knock the enemy into the air, use Negative Gate, and while it's going off, you can then hit them again in the air with, like, a short hop. Like, a lot of his aerial arts actually, like, feel like they're supposed to sustain his aerial mobility for, like, a really long fucking time, and I think that's kind of scary, but at the same time, I kind of want that. Like, he feels like he's the true air fighter out of, like, the whole group. Like, despite, like, Law having, like, surface-to-air stuff, and, like, Kisara and, like, Rinwell being able to, like, keep up in the air. No, he feels like he's pure air combat. Like, that's his thing. Like, hell, there's even dialogue in the game and, like, in skits that talk about, like him just going, oh, an airborne, so I'll take care of it. Not what he says directly, but you get the idea. Like, that feels like that's his domain. Like, again, I'm gonna need more time with him when I get the game myself, but I am ready. I need Law to have, like, 30-year-long air combos that don't end, and then when they do end, they start back up because he wasn't done talking. And I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more like Dohalim. I'm gonna need more like Dohalim combos. I'm like, the Law of Victory with Dohalim is definitely air combat, and I can't wait to just theory craft long ass combos that don't stop. And now for Kisara. Madam Cake, as most of the internet treats her like, because I'm not gonna lie, her butt is kind of nice. I wouldn't call it the thickest of the thick, but it's very nice. I like what I'm seeing. But let's get into something actually thick. Her hits and her damage are insanely high. Like, when you hit someone with Kisara, you're gonna feel it. Like, ooh. So, like, everything about her has, like, I'd say it has more weight than fucking Alphen does with his sword. Like, I know it's a mace hammer, so it's supposed to have that weight, but, like, Alphen, with how he's wielding his sword, feels like he's putting force behind it. With her, with Kisara, it really feels like she is putting power into it. Like, we're talking punching Kong from Kamen Rider 01 levels of power. Like, damn, son. Them shits are heavy. And she's another character where, like, everyone in the roster feels like they have good surface to air stuff. But it feels like with her, it feels like her main thing is knocking you into the air and then immediately making sure you touch the ground again. Like, that's her combo game. That's what she's all about. If you don't like it, you can leave. There's the door. Because she has Guardian Field, and I theory crafted an idea in my head where she used, like, her aerial beast. I don't remember what the name of it is. I don't think hers is just straight up called Beast, like how Lloyd, Farah, and friggin' Flynn have Beast. No, I think it's just like, it's called something different, but it's basically Beast. Like, she can hard knock you down. And then followed with Guardian Field, which, by the way, new Guardian Field looks really good. I like it. It's not the best version of Guardian Field in terms of its visual appeal, but I like how Guardian Field looks in this game. It's visually pleasing, and it fits with, like, the newer aesthetic to go with things, and I like it. Kisara overall has, like, a lot of heavy hits, and her burst, her, like, switch burst thing is, like, big-ass shield that comes up, but it looks like she pushes it forward, so it does damage, too. So she's not only blocking, but she's also dishing damage out, and I think, like, offensive guarding is really cool. Like, if you can block and attack at the same time, by all means go for it. Another thing about her I've noticed is that, like, she is the only character in the roster who can block. Like, there's no blocking in Tales of Arise. There's only dodging, but she's the only one who can block because she has a fucking tower shield and put her soul level purely into strength and said, this is the strength build. Shut up. But put a little bit into faith so she could have Guardian Field. But yeah. Overall, like, Kisara is really fun. Like, I think I've said that about everybody. Like, everyone's just really fun, but, like, I enjoy Kisara's a lot as well. And, like, I'm super excited to get more into what she can do. So before we begin, I did this entire segment and then I didn't hit record. So I'm a little miffed about that. Just a little bit. So, all in all, this game is, I don't have a lot of words to say what I want to say. Let's get into the small thing I want to talk about. It's something called the Art Sphere from Tales of Vesperia. It was introduced there as a way to give you 8 more arts, because in that game you could have your 4 base arts equipped on, your cardinal directions with the art button, and then you have shortcuts, which is the right thumbstick. And then you would hold down L1, left shoulder, LB, and then you'd get access to 8 more arts altogether, allowing you to effectively have, like, 16 arts. Running 16 arts at once is just mind-boggling. Like, something about it just, to me, was just, open up the combat. Was here for it, and I want to see if Tales of Arise gives you access to that as well. Because there are no shortcuts in Tales of Arise because the right stick is mapped to the camera, but you still have access to 3 ground arts, 3 air arts, giving you a total of 6 arts altogether. But I feel like you could have 6... I feel like you could have 6 more arts in the form of 3 more ground arts, 3 more air arts by holding down the L1 button in order to gain access to, an art sphere, give you more combat options. Because there are some arts that I wanted to use in the demo, but I still had to use other ones because there were too many options. I wanted to use as much as I could. But the game told me, nah, not right now. I hope the art sphere is in the game allowing for that, because I would like to use as many of my arts as possible for so many stylish combos and options and access to different weird, cool horseshit that I want to do. And just sit there and flex in front of the stream chat like, yo, look at how long this combo is. And the stream chat's like, Sosuke, please. It's been 9 years. That combo still hasn't ended. Anyway, besides that, let's also go into something that me as like a Tales of fan, and probably other Tales of fans are interested in, the Cameo Battle. The Cameo Battle system is when a previous Tales of character shows up in a current Tales of game. They show up, and y'all fight. Wherever you are, you talk for a little bit, and then you end up fighting. And the case, I still think like my favorite one, just like implication-wise, is that Jude and Mila from Tales of Xillia show up in Berseria. Jude ends up somehow turning into a penguin, and whenever he fights, he transforms into Jude Mathis, martial artist, doctor extraordinaire. But for some reason, Mila doesn't. I'm going to assume it's because, Mila's a special case. Not going to get into spoiler reasons why, but I just find it funny that, like, Mila doesn't end up turning into a penguin like Jude does. So you end up fighting the both of them on separate occasions, and then you fight them together when Jude no longer has to suffer being a penguin. And it's arguably, like, the hardest fight in the game next to, like, a lot of, like, the greater demons in that. But whatever. It was really cool, and I liked it. I hope we get 2 more, I hope we get 2 characters in Tales of Arise that are Cameo Battle, but I want the Cameo Battle characters to be playable because of the way the linear motion battle system is in Tales of Arise. It feels like this system can accommodate for any era of Tales of. Like any game a character comes from, it feels like it could accommodate for them, and I definitely need it. Me personally, I want to see Vicious and Kanata from Tales of Crestoria in an action space and not a turn-based space. Yeah, Tales of Crestoria being turn-based is one of the things that bothers me about it, but I still love the characters and the interactions that you get out of the system enough to actually enjoy playing it. Either that, or Luger from Tales of Xillia 2 and Velvet from Tales of Berseria working together to find their lost children. They gotta find Laphicet and Elle because they got lost when they fell into this world somehow, and now you gotta look for them. And Luger would have to be traveling with Velvet. Velvet starts a problem with your group because, I don't know, Xion goes, I think we saw a kid, but I don't care to remember. And then Velvet's like, well, I guess I'm beating your ass for that because how dare you lose sight of feet? And then they have you get a whole boss fight because of it. And then later on, you can have them join you just because why not? Because, when you open up the menu, you have the 4 Switchverse slots, and then you have, on the sub-palette for Switchverse, there's 2 more spots. Unless you don't get 2 more teammates, unless you don't get 2 more, party members, fill that up with, the Cameo Battle slots. Please. I would gladly take that. It would be interesting, because it'd be the first time you'd be able to play as a Cameo Battle character, that, as far as I'm concerned, and we'd be able to actually, we'd have characters from a different Tales of game playable in a modern one. In the case of Vicious and Kanata, I just want to see them in an action space. Having them locked to turn-based is probably one of the most painful things ever. Plus, the battle theme would just be an extended version of Vicious's theme from Tales of Crestoria, which, by the way, really good song. Damn, Vicious's theme is so good. Speaking of music, good segue. Let's talk about why the music in Tales of Arise is so good, and this is only a demo. Damn. The battle theme has someone effectively making a violin there, bitch, and that shit is just, ooh, I like it. Like, it's so good. It's just, it's, I need that battle theme extended to like 30 minutes right now, and the field battle theme is just, the field boss theme is so good. Oh, that field boss theme. It's such a shift from the regular battle theme. Like, I didn't think I would go into this wanting just to buy the OST, but here we're like, I was ready to buy an entire OST. I'm ready to put down money for it purely just because of that. So, what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm really excited for everything about this game. The characters, the story. I need everything about Tales of Arise in my life. Like, this is probably going to be the game, like, I end up no-lifing, where I only play that. Like, somebody would have to ask me directly if they wanted to play a game with me. Like, hey, you want to play fighting games? Sure. But if you try to, like, nab my attention for anything that isn't Tales of Arise, unless you're my girlfriend, like, she's the only person on the planet who could probably snatch me away from that game and be like, hey, let's go do this. And I'll be like, alright, fine. We'll do that. I'll put down Tales of Arise for her, but anyone else, nah. It's me, this game, and enjoying every single minute of it. Anyways, I've been Sosuke the Wandering Gamer, and these are just my wandering thoughts. Until we cross paths again, take care and have yourselves a damn good one.